Uh, let's see. Hopefully this is working now. Hey guys, it's Ben from Second Dynasty. I'm just looking to check that the stream is going, and it is excellent. This will be a short pre-Easter update. We made it. We became a YouTube. We got sponsored by YouTube. What is it called? A partner. Yeah, we became a partner. Yeah, you can hear Albin in the background sharing his jubilance. And today's going to be a shorter session. Really, just an update about what we've been doing, which has been less than usual, I feel, or at least I've been focusing on different areas. Dalton's been working hard on getting the Type S ready. We do have something that we're going to put up as a sort of beta version of the Type S deck plans. And you can actually see some of the graphics I've been working on for this as a part of a walkthrough that we will eventually do on the Type S. This is a lot of work, and work I've actually done on the weekend in my own time stuff. This really wouldn't be a priority for me otherwise, but I kind of got the feeling and decided to do this instead of playing games all weekend. And it was a break from the Odyssey. And we'll look at the Odyssey as well in a moment. I'm surprised that the stream... Oh, okay, is the stream crappy? Oh, wait, no.
I just think it's the day for Boss December launch.
Oh, okay. Hello on this crappy day. I mean, it's crappy for Jesus, too.
Yeah, isn't he having a nice meal today, though?
Yes, but it's his last one,
Yeah.
Alvin. After he returns from the dead, he doesn't eat anymore.
Oh man, that sucks.
I don't know that that's true. Sorry, guys. I'm making light of it. Easter break is the important thing for us, not necessarily the religious holiday. It's not something that we really celebrate aside from the tradition of being one of the three major Swedish holidays where you drink schnapps, get drunk, and eat the same food as you do on Christmas and Midsummer. So hello. Hi, Stephanie. Thank you so much for the work you did. Happy with how things are looking. And we will get to that shortly. So yeah, this is the render. It's still going on in the background. I'm very surprised that the stream isn't actually lagging for anyone. You haven't said anything yet, so I'm going to assume it's going all right. Even the I'm still making some adjustments because I don't quite like the lighting, but I do like the approach. Yes, I'm streaming. Eller vadå?
Can you vacuum?
Vi ska bara köra en halvtimme. Kan du vänta eller måste du? Ja. Okay. All right, Lisa lots wanting to clean, so we're gonna close up a little bit. I think she's only gonna do in the kitchen for now, so. Let us see. So what you're seeing in front of me is my Maya scene. It's still rendering. It says 77%. This is my work computer, so we've got a nice 3090 in here doing all the work. Otherwise, this would take significantly longer than 5 minutes, which is what it took to do this wonderful cross-section. So how do we achieve this? We actually have a camera set up, and I don't know why, but sometimes Maya forgets certain orthographic views. You can kind of see this green line right here, and that's our isometric camera, which is for this panel here. So we've just rendered this out, but it does like a slice through the middle to get this image, and then we actually do that at several different points to create a composite, because if we look at this image, you can see that the power plant on the attic deck actually is cut through the middle. We can't actually see the outline of that. There is no ladder well here in the foreground. I think that would look nicer. And yeah, there's just a few different areas that look better if we pull the camera out a little bit. You can see there's no engine cone here, for example. So I have done a composite version that I'm working on. Sorry you're having a shitty day. We've also had a bit of a bad news day here as well. So We are soldering on, but that's also why it's going to be a short stream. So I'm not going to be doing any real work today. I'm just going to show you guys what we've been doing in the last week. This has taken up a lot of my time and has been a distraction from other things. I would say it's Dalton's bad influence here. But yeah, the Type S now exists. If I just turn off the, if I turn off the lighting, so we don't see any of this, or rather we turn on polygons, we turn off the HUD. And you can see that, ignoring this little base here, I have taken the Type S and painted it in Maya the same way that Brian Jenkins painted up our physical model. Yeah, what do you want to say?
Brian Jenkins!
Okay, you wanted to do a Leroy Jenkins, but with Brian instead. I hope Brian doesn't see this stream. And if he is, hey buddy, how you doing? So yeah, a lot of work went into this. I would say it's, at this point, maybe 4 full days worth of work. So yeah, I got a bit distracted, and I'm still working on some shaders and whatnot. It's also about improving my own skills and getting a better look that we'll use in the future. And also another side project that we may or may not be doing. I can't really talk about that yet. But yeah, if we turn off the cockpit lid, the turret, and the top hole, we can see down into the ship. And you can see I haven't really painted this side yet. But the walls here have gone for like a greeny color in the engine room. There's still a few bits and bobs that I haven't finished painting. It's going to take time, like the tankage and all that. We get to a point here where it's not finished, right? And I don't know how much more I'm actually going to do, because I really wanted just a model that I can use to take some really handsome pictures of the Type S, because I kind of feel our renders that we have are a little bit dated at this point. And this will look much better. The downside is, of course, of the folders that the different variants that Dalton has done. Sorry, this isn't synced, so it might take a while to download some of these images. These are some of the versions that Dalton has done for the deck plans. But of course, the one I just showed you is absent, so I know he's going to want to do that despite everything else. But our main goal at the moment is just to release...
the Kraken.
I was going to say a finished product, and then we can iterate on that later. So, and we've made some really cool renders from this. I don't actually have them ready to go at the moment. Maybe I can just save this off. I don't know if I do need to save it. And we can actually open some of the images here. Let's see, I want to go into Traveler 1, Images, and then Type S Deck Plans. And then, yeah, we have some interior shots here to give you a better idea about what, let's see, what we can expect the art to look like. So here we go. Wait, why is that not loading? That's odd. All right, we'll do it the old-fashioned way by actually going to the folder. Is this it? Yes. So here's some of the interiors. I still want to get the aircraft in. I want to dampen some of the reflections in some of this metal. It's just a little bit too harsh. Let's see. Let's see. There's a lot going on in the chat. It has a 2D. Oh, right. I'm guessing that Blaster Tamaflange was bringing up barotrauma. Because that shot on the side is kind of a real... Whoops, we're on the wrong scene now. Is a real barotrauma sort of thing, I think, where it's a side-scroller submarine management, except the submarine is on... Is it Io or Titan? I'm not sure which of the moons it is, but yeah. And there's lots of Lovecraftian monsters in the deep that assault your submarine, so you kind of got to keep it. Yeah, anyway, I haven't played it, I've mostly watched it. I have bought it and then never played it. As I have done with so many Steam games. Let's see. I love the Type S. The Beowulf or Varga Corsair is my baby, though. Yeah. I'd like to eventually do this for the Beowulf and the Odyssey. I think older ships, it might just be too much work. I think we could get the Odyssey done like this within a day, so it might be worth doing. Or, when we get the deck plans finished and to the level of detail that Dalton wants, maybe we prove we have a product that is interesting to people, because as of yet, we're unproven. Also, I want to note the fact that we have let's see, I just want to put that down. Why did that not go down? I've actually added this to the model, which is a crawl space to access the sensor system here. I think this was in the original Type S deck plans, and I originally wanted to do it, and it was just one of those things where I'm like, I'm 6 months in, I'm in debt, this has to end, and I forgot about it. And I just added this back in. I'm not saying it's printable or anything, but it wouldn't take too much to make it printable. I'm not making promises. Shut up, Ben. Now I sound like Albin. So yeah, that's the Type S. And then I want to show you the Odyssey. So the Odyssey, not a lot of work has gone on this week because I have tasked John with, you can see here is the outer door for the cargo bay door. So this will fold down to ground level and a ramp will extend. Now, rather than spending a gazillion hours trying to figure out how this ramp works, I have given the task to John to solve. Unfortunately, John's desk then collapsed and his monitor shattered, and he is also on the road, so he has limited access to a computer working environment. So Albin is actually working on the side weaponry. I don't have that in here. Maybe you could just send me a screenshot or something in Discord. So I will be on the lookout for that. But yeah, so things are coming along nicely. And where did I put the stream? There it is. Okay. Gazelle is a great looking ship that could be adapted for so many things. I like the Gazelle too, and if I was to do a larger ship, I would maybe like to do that one. But honestly, Traveller needs to prove itself at this point. Mm-hmm. I just can't keep. We're not doing bad with it, but we're not doing well enough. Like this ship is almost comparable in size to the Beowulf. It's maybe about 20% smaller, something like that. And it took 10 weeks to develop. Whereas building on the bones of something else that already existed, sure, the modularity, I can do a lot with this kit. But building another Traveller ship from scratch is going to take a long time. And we just don't have time at the moment for 6 to 8 month projects. So the rear airlock is asymmetric. It's not as ideal with all of these radiators to be positioned where it is. However, as long as you don't touch them, you're fine. So I'm guessing really it's more about when the ship's parked that you'd have a nice little balcony to bring out a little deck chair. I guess the chief engineer can come out and have a beer and look at the view, amongst other things. And yeah, we basically, this is almost complete. It's maybe not the way that everyone else would make it. I know some people suggested making this completely flat and having some kind of vehicle bay here. We could do that, but I wanted to preserve the crawl spaces within. So obviously this isn't print complete at the moment, but you're able to see down into the crawl spaces, and the airlock itself does have these iris hatches. Because the whole point of the Odyssey was to have this system set up where, you can really use it as a practical sort of like gaming level. So a garage, not a bad idea, but that might be a job for Shadow Liger. Or someone else that has more patience at the moment than me. So adding in a little bit of detail here to make it look a bit better. There's a little bit of mucking around we need to do with where pieces are falling and think about print orientations and whatnot. I would have loved to cover that gap there all in one piece, but I don't really want to cover the fan gap either. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe there'll be an insert or something to cover that up. Of course, you can customize this. You could mirror this. Yeah. Basically, that's where that is at. So it's quite close. I don't think it'll be done today because I really want to focus on doing a send out for Easter with the Type S deck plans in their beta state at the moment. And then there is one other thing to mention that Philippe, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but we are doing a new variant of our turret. Now, this used to be a barbette. It used to be more than twice the size, and there was like a ladder rungs going up to give an impression of scale. This is a standard turret port adaptation, and yeah, this will be a free item that at the moment what we're looking at is dropping it into our tribes as a bonus item and then offering people on the brick campaign on Kickstarter. If you haven't seen it, you should probably check it out. Maybe we can look up a link for that very quickly. Just to promote that. Let's see. By Games Art. So here we go. So if you haven't checked that out, that's a cool 3D printable starship, and they are compatible with our turrets. And that's why I also wanted to make a more blocky style turret available to those people. So if you haven't already done so, you'll be able to get a free month of tribes, which will include not only this, but also the awesome tractor that Albin designed. And getting back on the topic of Albin, he has sent some screenshots. So let's, I'm going to open these in the same browser, hopefully. Did that work? One of them worked. So yeah, we have this missile launcher where it's basically taken the standard missiles for starfighters and turned them into a pack. So you could, I think you got something like 15 missile ports there and a reload of each. Then let's see, there's some alternative views here. If I can get this to open in browser, there we go. There's the back side. So you load in the missiles, and you know, they load them into these ports, and then yes, it's fire away. Then of course we are looking at missile tubes. Oh, sorry, not missile tubes, torpedo tubes. So these ones instead use a more traditional submarine style thing. We're building them in such a way so that they use a torpedo based on the Sleipnir, but a shorter version. So the thing is, these torpedoes, yeah, great. They're more expand style, short versions. If you want the long versions and want to modify your ship, you can actually take this section here in the middle and duplicate it as many times as you want. So you can extend the barrel, and potentially you could take the full sized version of this.
Such a weird idea that you just make this like a corridor and build the ship around like a submarine almost.
You could do that, Albin. You could do that. There, many things are possible. Nice turret. I offered up my Skele pilot to him as well, so it gets the blasted Summerflange crew and second dynasty turret. Woot! Yes. Where's the link? Sorry. Where's the link? The link is here. But yeah, we'll be sending that out in the future with a link. I just need to talk to Philip a little bit about delivery. We'll probably do it in the sense of you actually have to sign up for it yourself onto a list, and then we will attribute the free month to you. So we'll see how it goes. He's also unlocked a bunch of different stretch goals. So they're currently working on these missile launchers for the ship's nose. Apropos, I reckon, and they're going to have a turret version of that too if we can get it to 14k. So I think that's in euros if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and they're at 12,400. So we will provide the link in our update as well as a little bit of a boost. So yeah, I guess we're not really at 30 minutes here either, but as far as updates go, am I missing anything, Alban? I feel like I'm missing something.
Not sure.
You sound productive there. So yeah, there is other stuff going on, of course. Oh, yes.
Have you shown how?
Oh no, I haven't.
No.
I haven't. That's exciting. All right, guys. Let's get into the real show and tell. I'll be putting these out on my Instagram later today. But if we go to the close-up camera, I have actually made the extension lead possibly work this time. And here we go. Look at this. Oh. It's quite large. There is the Odyssey in comparison. I haven't actually attached it, which is why the back is off. What you can do is you can lift off the lid.
Oh, yeah.
Not the Odyssey.
This one?
Yes.
Here we go.
Right here, so you can see down into the bridge.
Lovely. That's freaking cool.
And then even the level below that.
Can you just lift that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like it's made for taking it apart and
Yes,
play with it.
it is kind of like that, Alban.
Wow.
Obviously, the back part is not attached right now because it does have this sort of curved section on the back of the Odyssey. And we haven't replaced the top because we have the prototype version printed, which doesn't have the support for the doors. So, yeah, let's reassemble this real quick.
What do you call this? The command deck or something? It looks really cool.
Yes.
Details everywhere. Lovely.
I would just call it the bridge.
The bridge.
So yeah, the antennas are slightly loose maybe, but they really just settle exactly where I want them anyway. These things swing around a bit, but yeah, if you didn't want it to look as anime-like, you could probably have them sticking straight out or something, I don't know. But yeah, it all works nicely. This isn't even attached at all at the moment. There's only two hooks. I didn't have enough hooks printed.
Ah, okay.
So that's why it looks like it does. Sorry about the light bleeding, but you know, dreary day. It's been snowing again. So yeah, and then of course this was Alban's tractor. And notice one thing here. The height is less than the height of the floor.
You can park it indoors.
You could technically stick it in the cargo bay of the Odyssey. Now, how you would actually back it in would probably look like something from Austin Powers, but yeah, that's how that's going. Let's get the camera back. All right, and now you guys should be able to hear me properly again. So yeah, what did you guys think of that? Nice, lovely tour. Wow, there's like a ton of lag between.
Yeah, between the.
Yeah,
and the...
I wonder what's doing that. In any case, yeah, we're just going to look at the chat for a little bit, I think, and then we're going to round things off so that Lisa Lot can vacuum.
Oh yeah.
All right, and I need to switch from. I need to switch back to. I guess it doesn't really matter, but switch back to the Minicam and Maya, or I think the Type S looks even better to have in the background. What do you guys think? Let's see. Let's get those landing gears out. See, one day I want to revisit the landing gear. Like, we modeled this, and this is nothing against Alban, but the design of the landing gear was based on some sketches we found of the Type S, but I was never really in love with it, and as much as the experiment of folding landing gear was fun, I'd rather just build some extended landing gear that is solid and not as wobbly, because the Type S is very fiddly to get.
And I mean, it was kind of rushed as well. I think I made them in like, I was supposed to make them in a week, but I spent 2 weeks on them or something.
Yeah, and I think...
I mean, they look very, what do you call it, squarish.
They do, but I mean, that's what the source material looked like too, so I'm not holding that against you. And I think too, if you designed it today, you would do it differently. Yeah. But yeah, missed the tour, do it again. So, of course, Dalton says. Let me just catch up here. That would go all really well with Project Mobius's Suzunami subparts. I treat torpedoes as a heavier shielded ordnance than a missile. Yeah, fair enough. Let's see. The conning tower is a beaut. Love that. It almost sounds like Australian wording there. Giving Gundam headdress a run for its money. Yeah, and again, if you didn't want that bridge style, you can just take off those antennae, and it looks much more like a conventional submarine. I have updated the download files too, guys. If you have downloaded it already and started printing, you might want to check those out. Just a few printing defects. You'll still get it to work fairly well, but yeah, just a few fixes that I noticed were creating some print defects and whatnot. So let's see. I look at the truck, and I think that rack to carry a fighter would be cool, or even better, some Second Dynasty ground mecha. That would be lovely one day. I don't think we're quite there yet. And will there ever be a tactical scale version of the truck? Interesting idea. Never really thought of it. And since we've still got 3 minutes left, Dalton, you can have a quick tour of the colorful Type S. Let's what am I doing here? So yeah, I re-rendered this scene live. There are a few minor changes that I'm starting to make in the engine room. But yeah, let's look at the exterior. We've got all that lovely paneling shading. It's going to look great in renders, and I showed off a few earlier, which of course Dalton has already seen. Let's take off the turret first and peep down into the power plant room in the attic. We've only got one wall shaded at the moment, not the other one. It does take a lot of time. And, you know, I see defects and fixes, that potentially some small updates we could make in the future. But again, I probably want to spend 3 or 4 days with the ship to get it to that point, and we're not in a phase where that's a good idea. So yeah, we have added in this. I don't know what that is. Is that our... Yeah, okay. I need to make some adjustments to this model because this is not meant to have the end part on. Yeah, we added in this crawl space. It wasn't there before. And it just lets you crawl down into the area underneath this big sensor array thingy. If we take off the top hull and cockpit lid, and let's also turn off the upper deck floor here so we can see properly down into things. This shader here is black because I haven't attached a viewport shader to it. So technically this should be more like this shiny metal in the near future. Basically, I felt like this material was too reflective. The jump drives I felt were too gray, and I wanted to get the nice glow that we've had in the past going on, but that's kind of like where we left things. Then we have the coloring. So you can see I haven't really done the port side of the ship yet. Well, I have in places, but only up the front. But the cockpit, and you know, all of this reminds me of things I would do different. One of the things I would probably do is cover this gap here, because when this renders, it has this horrible outline because there's some, you know, tolerance margins here for the physical print. Combine that in, do the landing gear a different way, especially if we're just printing solid. we have tons of new adapters and things now that we could use instead. I also started to try and color the, I think Jade is the name of the character we gave her. So yeah, just creating this environment that we can nicely render. We've got the, this is all the life support systems. Adding a bit of color. We've got these hydrogen pumps here, the storage tanks. I was trying to imagine all of these different things. I'm sure it would be quite different, and I know that these tanks are not an optimal shape for. Oh look, there's a little
storage. Or...
They're not optimal for storage of sub-zero liquids. Let's see. We want a hydrogen tank color there. So we had a little piece here that we needed to fix to make it fancy. And then you can see I haven't done the tables yet. One of the reasons for that is these were designed to be printable tables. Deck plan tables, I would probably modify these a little bit. Like, this doesn't need to be as bulky as it is. This is all about the clip within printing out properly. Even this we would do completely different in the future. And I wouldn't worry about these weird sort of support arms that we stuck in. I would just, you know, say, hey, Blue Tack is your friend, basically. And then we have the garage here. And I tried to make some of the rooms a different color. That's why engineering is like green. I was trying to think of, like, if you had this side-scrolling game design thing, you could easily identify different areas of the ship. It's like, here is the bridge, here is living quarters, here is engineering, this is also engineering, down here is access.
Speaking of engine,
yeah,
is it called Dread to go faster? 100 times in
I don't know about that. And then of course we have the cargo bay here, so it's kind of color coordinated. And let's take off the partitions and the main floors here and peep down. Actually, the partitions can stay now that I think about it. I haven't done this wall yet, but yeah, I kind of went with this yellowish orangey color scheme for the cargo bay. Again, it's mostly just angles that we see in that side-scrolling version. So, and then we did a composition. So basically where I took a slice here, took another slice slightly there, and a third one through the middle of the engine so that we could get an image of the interior of the engine. So look for that in the future. Yeah, that concludes our partially colorized tour. And to give some idea, yeah, I've spent about, let's see, 30 hours coloring this scene. Those are work hours, not like I started 30 hours ago and slept and did other stuff for 6. This is like 4 full days of work. So coloring some of our older ships is something I'd love to eventually have. It will probably work in this way moving forward because it's a lot easier to get nicer looking colorful renders. We may even have another technique on the horizon. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I like the way that things are progressing with this, and I think we can make some wonderful art to go along with the deck plans and a bunch of new material for Dalton. Of course, the second that I showed him this, he wanted it for other ships. So yeah, the Dalton meme applies here as well, I feel. Anyway, guys, whether you celebrate it or not, hopefully you guys can have some time off for the long Easter holiday. We will be back on Tuesday. Don't expect too much work, but do expect an update and a beta release for the Type S coming sometime today or early tomorrow. Alright guys, we're going to round things off. Thank you for joining us and engaging in the chat, and thank you once again for making our YouTube partnership possible. We haven't monetized anything just yet, mostly because I've got no idea what I'm doing, and I don't know that we're necessarily going to do that straight away, but we'll see how this goes. Alright guys, have a great weekend. Bye.